Hello, precious soul. Hello, weary traveler. I am not addressing you as a preacher from a high pulpit, but as one who sits beside you in silence. In that very silence that becomes deafening when all the voices of the world fall silent and only one remains. A quiet, exhausted whisper inside you. A whisper that utters just a few words. I can't do this anymore. I give up. Are you familiar with this feeling? It is not a loud cry of despair, no. It is a dull, all-consuming fatigue. Fatigue not so much of the body as of the spirit. It is a heaviness that weighs on your shoulders like an invisible burden. The burden of unfulfilled hopes, unshed tears, unfinished battles, and promises you made to yourself and others. You have carried this burden for so long, so steadfastly, so courageously, that you no longer remember what it is like to walk with your shoulders straight. Every step is difficult. Every morning requires superhuman effort just to open your eyes and face a new day that promises to be an exact copy of yesterday. And then, on one of those days, you stop. Not because you decided to, but because your strength has run out. The battery is dead, the well has run dry, and the voice inside, the one that always encouraged you, that said, get up, fight, you can do it. That voice falls silent, and instead it comes, that same quiet whisper, enough, enough, let it all go. I want you to hear me now, very carefully. That voice, that desire to give up, it's not a sign of your weakness. I'll say it again. Let these words sink deep into your heart. Your desire to stop is not a failure. It is not a defeat. It does not mean that you have broken down or that your faith was not strong enough. The world we live in has taught us to be ashamed of this feeling. It extols constant motion, tireless struggle, success against all odds. It tells us, never give up, and we believe it. We turn our lives into an endless marathon, forgetting that even the most enduring runner has a limit. We are ashamed of our fatigue, hiding it behind forced smiles and cheerful replies of, everything's fine. We are afraid that if we admit our desire to stop, we will be judged, called weak, and turned away from. But I am here to tell you the truth that comes from the very heart of the universe. Your desire to give up is your soul's cry for mercy. It is the most honest conversation you have ever had with yourself. Your soul, your inner essence, no longer wants to pretend. It is tired of masks. It is tired of battles that may not even be yours. It says, please stop. Please hear me. I am in pain. I need rest. This is not weakness. It is wisdom. The wisdom of a body signaling its exhaustion. The wisdom of a heart that can no longer bear the pain. The wisdom of a spirit that knows that in order for something new to be poured into a vessel, it must first be emptied. Imagine a warrior after a long, exhausting battle. He lowers his sword and shield not because he is a coward, but because the battle is over and he needs time to heal his wounds, regain his strength, and mourn the fallen. Your soul is the same warrior, and now it is asking you for a truce, for a sacred pause. This moment, when your hands drop, is not a fall into the abyss. It is an invitation to lie down on the ground, to feel its support, its firmness, to stop fighting gravity and just allow yourself to be tired, to be broken, to be honest. The higher power, whatever you call it, God, the universe, the source of life, does not judge you at this moment. On the contrary, it is at this point of extreme vulnerability and honesty that it comes closest to you. When you stop shouting your requests and demands to the heavens, when you fall silent from powerlessness, you finally get the chance to hear the answer. An answer that comes not in a storm, not in fire, but in a gentle breeze, in this very silence. So, my friend, do not be afraid of this state. Do not blame yourself. Don't try to force yourself to get up and run again. Stay here, at this 0 point, in this deafening silence of your exhaustion. Acknowledge and respect the path that brought you here. You were strong. You were incredibly strong. And it was your strength that led you to this fatigue. This is not the end. It is a threshold. A threshold beyond which begins not a continuation of the old exhausting race, but something completely different. But to enter the new door, you must first stop knocking on the old one. Allow yourself this pause, breathe in and breathe out, along with all the tension, all the guilt, all the fear. Just breathe. You are here. You are alive. And this is the starting point, not for a new battle, but for healing. For it is here, in this deep, painful honesty with yourself, that your true path to strength begins. So you have stopped. You have allowed yourself to be silent, and the world around you has also fallen silent. And in this silence, you may feel emptiness, a vast, boundless space in which there are no familiar landmarks, no familiar voices, no clear signposts. This place can be frightening. It can seem lifeless, barren, abandoned. I want to offer you an image that will help you understand what is happening to you. This place where you find yourself, it is like a desert. Yes, exactly like a desert. When we think of a desert, we think of heat, thirst, loneliness, and danger. And it's true, the desert is a harsh place. It offers no easy paths or cool shade. But in all ancient traditions and sacred writings, the desert is not just a place of suffering. It is, above all, a place of transformation, a place where the spirit goes to find itself. Your current state, your emotional emptiness and fatigue, is not a curse. It is your personal, sacred journey through the desert. Let me explain. The first thing the desert does is strip you of everything. In the city, you can be anyone. A successful professional, a caring parent, the life of the party. You have a name, status, responsibilities, clothes that speak for you. But in the desert, none of that matters. The scorching sand doesn't care how much money you have in your bank account. The merciless sun doesn't care about your achievements. Here, you are left alone with yourself. The desert strips you of all your masks, all your roles, all your illusions. It lays you bare to your very essence, and that can be scary. But it is also the greatest liberation. For the first time in a long time, you have a chance to see who you really are, without all the things you are used to thinking of as yourself. The desert is a place of extreme honesty. Second, the desert only seems dead. When viewed from above, it looks like a lifeless canvas of sand and stones. But if you look closely, you will see life. Life that has learned to survive in the harshest conditions. Small flowers that bloom after rare rains, seeds that can lie dormant in the ground for decades, waiting for their moment. Animals that have learned to live under the cover of night. The desert teaches us that life can take many forms, that stillness is not always death, that the absence of turbulent activity on the surface does not mean the absence of deep inner growth. Your soul may seem like such a desert to you right now, without visible flowers and fruits. But believe me, inside you, deep down, tremendous work is going on. You are learning to be resilient. You are accumulating inner moisture. You are waiting for your moment to blossom like never before. And the third most important property of the desert, during the day the sun burns and blinds. It forces you to seek shelter, to hide. Similarly, your pain and despair may seem unbearable during the day, but when the sun sets, the desert is transformed. The air becomes cool, and the sky, oh, what a sky in the desert. In our cities, with their eternal artificial light, we hardly see the stars. Hundreds, thousands of lights prevent us from seeing the grandeur of the cosmos. We see only the brightest planets and constellations. But in the absolute impenetrable darkness of the desert, the sky comes alive. Billions of stars whose existence you never suspected flash above your head. The Milky Way stretches from horizon to horizon, and you, a small person standing in the midst of this silence, feel your connection to something infinitely great. It is the same in life. As long as the fires of vanity, ambition, False goals and daily anxieties burn in our souls. We cannot see our inner stars. We do not notice our connection with the eternal. But when the dark night of the soul comes, when all these familiar lights go out one by one, when you feel that you are left in complete darkness and loneliness, it is then, and only then, that you have a chance to see your inner light, to see your true nature, your inseparable connection with God, with the universe. Your steadfastness, your faith, your love are stars that can only be seen from the deepest darkness. The great prophets and sages of all times went into the desert. Moses, Jesus, Muhammad. They all went through their trials of emptiness and loneliness to return with revelation. You are following in their footsteps. Your desert is not a place of exile. It is your personal Sinai, your Calvary and your resurrection. It is a place where the old self, tormented and weary, must die so that a new self may be born, purified, wise, and incredibly strong. So do not curse your desert. Do not rush to leave it. Treat it with respect. It is a harsh but wise teacher. It teaches you to value every drop of water. It teaches you to navigate not by road signs set by others, but by the eternal stars. It teaches you to find life where it seems to be absent. You are in a sacred space. Here in this silence and emptiness, you are preparing for a new stage in your life. And now that we understand that this place is not a curse, but a test, the main question arises: where to get water to survive this journey? Where can we find a source that will not dry up under the scorching sun? We will talk about this in the next part. In the meantime, just be in your desert and start looking at its night sky, because the stars, believe me, are already beginning to appear. We stand in the middle of our personal desert. We have accepted it as a place of transformation, not a curse. We have seen the first stars twinkling in the darkness of our weariness, but thirst is still with us, a spiritual thirst that parches our throats and makes our hearts ache with longing. And the main question rings out in the silence: where can we find water? Where is the oasis, the spring that will bring us back to life? We are used to looking for it outside ourselves. We hope that someone will come and save us. A wise advisor, a new project, a move to another city, the love of another person. We ask the heavens for rain, expecting moisture to pour down on us from outside. We use our last strength to move forward, peering into the horizon in search of green palm trees. And we don't find them. The horizon only recedes and our strength melts away. It is at this moment, when we stop our external search, that we are ready to hear the greatest truth that the desert holds. The truth is simple, but our restless mind refuses to believe it. It goes like this: the source you are looking for is not ahead of you. It is deep within, right under your feet. Within each person, at the very core of their being, there is an inexhaustible well of living water. Think about it. Not a puddle that dries up after the rain, not a stream that can dry up in a drought, but a deep, mighty artesian spring fed by the eternal, underground rivers of being itself. This spring is your direct connection to God, to life, to the universe. It is the divine spark that the sages speak of. It is your spirit, your true self. It cannot be broken. It cannot be dried up. It is eternal. But Pastor, I hear your quiet question, if this spring is within me, why am I dying of thirst? Why do I feel so empty, so dry? That is the most important question. And the answer is also simple. The source has not disappeared. But over the long years of our lives, without realizing it, we have thrown stones at it and covered it with sand. What are these stones? They are the stones of our fears: fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of loneliness, fear of not being good enough. Every time we gave in to fear and refused to follow our heart's calling, we threw one such stone into our well. What is this sand? It is the sand of other people's opinions that we have taken as our own. The words of our parents who told us who we should be. The demands of society that dictated what we should strive for. The ridicule of our peers that made us hide our true talents and dreams. Layer by layer, this sand settled at the bottom of our souls, and we forgot that there was clear water beneath it. And then there is the silt of old grudges that we have not let go of, anger at others that poisons us, guilt for past mistakes that we carry with us like a heavy chain. This viscous, dark mass has clogged our inner spring, and the water has stopped flowing. And here is the result. We stand on fertile ground under which countless treasures are hidden, and we die of hunger and thirst. Your feeling of inner emptiness is not the absence of a source. It is only a sign that you have lost access to it. But here's the good news. What has been buried can be dug up. What has been covered up can be cleared away. The desert, having deprived you of everything external, gives you a unique chance to engage in the most important work of your life, clearing your inner well. This work does not require physical strength. On the contrary, it requires the silence and peace that you now have. It is the archaeological work of the soul. It begins with you sitting at the edge of your abandoned well and simply looking inside, without judgment, with the compassion and curiosity of an explorer. You pick up the first stone. This is my fear of public speaking. It started back in school when You just look at it, you acknowledge it, and gently set it aside. You pick up a handful of sand. And this is my father's voice saying that art won't feed you. You see it. You thank him for his concern, even if it was expressed so clumsily. And you let the wind blow away the sand. You scoop up some mud. And this is my resentment toward a friend who betrayed me many years ago. You allow yourself to feel that pain again, but no longer as part of yourself, but as something foreign. And you pour that mud onto the hot desert ground so that the sun will dry it out and turn it to dust. This is prayer. This is meditation. This is repentance in the deepest sense of the word. Not self-abasement, but a change of perspective, a return to your true nature. It is slow, painstaking work. It requires courage. But with every stone you remove, with every handful of sand, you will feel something changing. First, there will be a faint smell of damp earth. Then you will begin to hear a quiet, distant murmur. And one day, reaching deep into the ground, your fingers will touch cool, life-giving moisture. And at that moment, you will understand. You do not need salvation from outside. You do not need rain from the heavens. Everything you need for life, for healing, for creativity, for love, is already within you. It has always been there, waiting for you to come home. And now in this silence, you stand at the edge of your inner well. In your hands, you hold determination. In your heart, you hold hope. But where to start? This pile of stones and sand may seem enormous. There is no need to try to do everything at once. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and clearing the well begins with a single, small action. We will talk more about this first, most important action later. And so, you stand at the edge of your inner well. You see the stones of fear, the sand of other people's opinions, the silt of old resentments. And at first, you may be overcome by a familiar feeling of hopelessness. The task seems insurmountable. A voice in your head says, "It's impossible. It's too much. I don't have the strength to sort through all this. It's easier to leave everything as it is." That voice is lying. It lies because it thinks in terms of enormous effort and instant results. Our mind loves drama. It wants to see us, like a mythical hero, lift a boulder in one fell swoop and throw it aside. But spiritual work is different. It's not like heavy athletics. It's like gardening. It doesn't require one titanic effort. It requires many small, gentle, repetitive movements. You don't have to clear the whole well today. You don't have to do anything heroic. I ask only one thing of you, to perform what I call the act of small faith. What is that? It is a single, tiny, but absolutely conscious action that you oppose to your despair. It is your quiet but firm response to entropy and despondency. It is the mustard seed mentioned in the gospel, the smallest of seeds from which a huge tree grows. We don't need to grow a tree. We just need to plant one seed right now. Let's consider what your act of small faith might be. Choose the one that resonates with you the most. The first and most important act is breathing. When we are overcome by anxiety or despondency, our breathing becomes shallow and uneven. It's as if we are afraid to breathe life in fully. So your first act of faith is to take one really deep, conscious breath. Let's do it together right now, wherever you are. Straighten your shoulders as much as possible, and slowly, through your nose, begin to inhale, feeling the cool air entering you. Imagine that you are inhaling not just oxygen, but peace, mercy, strength. Inhale until your lungs are completely full. Hold your breath for a moment. Now slowly exhale through your mouth. Exhale everything. The tension in your shoulders, the heaviness in your chest, the dark thoughts. Exhale with a quiet sound of relief. Ha, 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 until the last drop of air leaves you. That's it. You have performed an act of small faith. With that breath, you said yes to life. With that exhalation, you let go of a piece of your pain. It didn't solve all your problems, but you just removed the first, smallest pebble from your well. You can do this at any time. One conscious breath is already a prayer. The second act of small faith is the word. Your inner dialogue is probably full of destructive phrases. I can't do it. Everything is meaningless. I'm a failure. We repeat them so often that they become true. An act of small faith is to say aloud in a whisper one short affirmative phrase. You don't have to believe in it 100%. Just say it. Let its vibrations resonate in the space. What phrase? The simplest one. For example, the source is within me. Or, I choose to take another step. Or simply, let there be light. Say it now if you can. The source within me. Feel how these words roll off your tongue, in your throat, in your chest. You have planted a new seed in the soil of your soul. It may not sprout right away, but you have planted it. You have countered thousands of words of despair with one word of hope. This is an incredibly powerful act. The third act of small faith is movement. Despair paralyzes us. It makes us shrink, freeze, lie motionless. It wants to convince our body that life is over. Your act of faith is to make one simple, conscious movement. You don't have to run a marathon. Just stand up. If you are sitting, stand up. Feel the floor beneath your feet. Feel how the earth holds you. That's already a lot. Now stretch. Raise your arms to the sky as high as you can. Stretch your spine. Expand your chest, which has been constricted by anxiety. With this movement, you are physically breaking the chains of despondency. Your body is telling your spirit, we are still alive. Blood is still flowing. We can move. Go to the window. Look at the sky, at a tree, at a passerby. Bring yourself back to the world of the living through the simplest physical action. And the fourth act, very intimate, it is touch. Put your hand on your heart. Right now, close your eyes and just feel. Feel its quiet, steady beat. Thump, thump, thump. That's your heart. It has been beating every second of your life, in moments of joy and in moments of sorrow. It has never given up. Even now, when your mind tells you that it's all over, it continues its work. It continues to pump life through your veins. Feel that rhythm. It is the rhythm of life itself. It has not given up. It continues to beat for you. Thank it. Say to it, thank you for being with me. This simple gesture, placing your hand on your heart, is an act of profound self-acceptance and self-compassion. You are connecting with the part of yourself that has never lost faith. One breath, one word, One movement, one touch. Don't try to do everything at once. Choose one thing, the simplest thing, the most accessible thing for you at this very moment, and perform this act, not for the sake of the result, not in anticipation of a miracle, but simply as a statement, as a declaration of intent addressed to yourself and to the entire universe. A statement that, despite the pain, fatigue, and darkness, the little flame of life in you is still burning, and you choose not to let it go out. This is the beginning of clearing your well. Today you removed one stone. Tomorrow, perhaps, you will remove another, and that is more than enough. So, we have walked this path together. We began in the deafening silence of your exhaustion, where the only sound was the whisper of, "I can't do this anymore." We dared to call this state not weakness, but a sacred pause. We entered the metaphorical desert of your soul and realized that it was not a place of death, but a place of transformation, where eternal stars become visible in the thickest darkness. We stopped looking for the source of salvation outside and dared to look inside, discovering there a collapsed but not dried up well of living water. And you did the most difficult and most important thing. You performed your act of small faith. You took one conscious breath. You uttered one word of hope. You made one movement toward life. You removed the first stone. And now, standing here on the threshold of a new understanding of yourself, I want to offer you not advice or instruction. I want to offer you a blessing, a prayer of affirmation that will be your companion on the road ahead. You know, when we are in trouble, our first instinctive prayer is a plea for deliverance. Lord, take this pain away. Remove this obstacle. Make the storm end. This is an honest human prayer, but today I want to pray for something else. I want to ask for you not an easy path, but strong legs. Not the absence of burdens, but strong shoulders. Not a quiet harbor, but the ability to steer your ship through any storm. And so, I turn my voice to you and to the power that gave you life. May your fatigue be blessed, for it is not a sign of defeat, but an honest testimony to the long and courageous battle you have fought. May it not be a prison for you, but a permission for deep, healing rest. May your desert be blessed, for it is in its silence that you learn to hear the voice of your own soul. In its merciless heat, your illusions and fears are burned away. In its endless sands, you learn to find support not in the external, but in the internal. May it become for you not a place of exile, but a temple of transformation. Blessed be your inner well, and may you be blessed with the clear and unshakable memory that you were never empty, that in your very core flows the eternal river of life, peace, and strength. Blessed be your hands which dare to begin clearing the rubble. Blessed be your act of small faith, your deep breath, which is a yes to life, your quiet word, which is a seed of hope, your simple movement, which is a dance in defiance of despair. May the power of these small deeds multiply 1,000-fold, and may they grow into the mighty tree of your inner fortitude. And may your path forward be blessed. I pray that each morning you will find the strength to perform another small act of faith. I pray that you will be kind and patient with yourself, remembering that a garden does not grow overnight. I pray that even on the most difficult days, you can place your hand on your heart, feel it beating, and remember, the life within me has not given up. Therefore, I will not give up either. You are stronger than you think. You are wiser than you are accustomed to believing. You are not alone in your struggle, even if it seems that way right now. You are a child of the universe, and all of its creative powers within you, waiting for you to allow it to manifest. You are not alone on this journey and in this search. We are here, the faith-spoken community, walking with you. Thousands of fellow travelers like you are listening to these words and seeking their own path to their inner source. If this message has touched your heart and given you even a glimmer of hope, please support our mission. Please like this video. Your like is like a beacon that will help other weary ships find this quiet harbor. Write in the comments below what your act of small faith was today. It could be as simple as the words, "I am breathing," or "I took a step." Your simple testimony can be an incredible support to someone who reads it in a moment of despair. And of course, subscribe to the Faith Spoken channel so you don't miss our next meetings, so that we can continue to explore together the paths to healing, strength, and a deep, meaningful life. Now go into your day, not with the burden of having to fight again, but with the light heart of someone who knows where their source is. Go in peace, and remember, even after the darkest night, always dawn comes.